Hi, welcome to the National Critics' Choice Online News, and today we have a special guest with us, and it's none other than Celina Kimble.
Hi, nice to meet
Yes,
you.
yes, Celina, you are the new artist and songwriter of the month
Yes, that's right.
in 2014 in June here in
Yeah.
Singapore. Tell me, how does it feel like being selected as the artist of the month?
I was very surprised and shocked because I wasn't expecting anyone to come over during my EP show when I released my EP in the 8th of June because, uh, the arts house had told me that they had invited someone, and so it was all kind of a surprise because I was just really handling all the decoration and all the music stuff. So I was really out of sorts. So I was really surprised. Yeah, but it was a good surprise though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So now, when you done your EP, it must have taken you a while to put everything together.
Yeah.
Um, why did you choose to wait all these years to put this wonderful EP? Is it worth the pain?
Well, initially I started off in about 2009, 2010. I was involved with Noise Singapore and Bay Beats, and so there was actually some media attention already on me at the point in time. But I didn't choose to go on to pursue music was because, at that point in time, I was concentrating on graduating and I had my internship, and also there was a lot of things going on with the people who were helping me, the sessionists involved during the Noise Singapore and Bay Beats at the point in time. So I just wanted to take a short break for myself because I felt like the songs that I was writing, they were starting to sound the same, and I didn't like that all my music sounded the same because I didn't want my listener to feel that my music was repetitive. So I decided to just kind of stay away and take a break for a while, and then maybe when I continue writing later it might sound a little more different, or I just had to take a step back and just listen to more music influences that might really help to influence the kind of music that I write.
Now, let's take a step back. We have a question from Malaysia that came in through our email, and that is, they asked Ms. Kimball, could you tell us what kind of influences did you have when you write your music? Were there any artists that you admire most at this point of time, and were there any differences of your taste in the past then and today?
Okay. I think when I first started out, I listened a lot to rock, so that was kind of like my main source of um, feeding, in that sense, my musical influences like Evanescence or Haley from Paramore, and then it started to evolve a little bit more. I started getting into the indie vibe when I started listening to Florence and the Machine, Ellie Goulding, Kimbra. I started exposing myself a lot more to other musical influences, especially with my mentor during Noise Singapore. He had mentioned that how he gained musical inspiration was through listening to many types of music, and that really helped me to kind of pick out what I liked about certain things, and then try to see how it influenced my music in that sense.
Ms. Kimball, there's another question also coming from Indonesia that we received on email as well, and that is, Ms. Kimball, we noticed that during your EP launch, we saw that you actually thank Jesus
Yeah.
for all that you've done.
Yeah.
Are you religious, and is religion important to you, and has religion actually influence in your music?
I am a Christian, and definitely I think Christianity is a very big part of my life. I grew up as a child as a Christian, but it was only until much later that I personally experienced Christ. And throughout this entire time and whatever that I was going through, it was a big part of my life, and Jesus really helped me stay sane in that sense, because there were a lot of times I felt like everything was falling apart and I didn't even know who I was, and without Jesus I wouldn't know who I am as a person or who my identity is. Yeah.
Well, it is come to a surprise for me as well. While I was watching your EP launch, that you were a religious person. Um, how do you define music today? What is music to you? Because many artists are trying to define themselves. They create even their own mission and vision statement of themselves too, like Lady Gaga. So, what is yours?
Mm, I definitely do hope that my music is able to, just inspire people, even though I'm just only writing songs about heartbreak. But in that sense, I hope that people can connect to that story and feel that they're not alone in whatever that they're going through. Because I felt like when I listened to songs from, like, for example, Katy Perry or Miley Cyrus, I felt that there was a level of pain which I could connect to, that I could understand what they were actually going through, and I didn't feel so alone in my circumstance. So it really helped me to kind of, tell myself that, hey, I'm not alone, and there are people out there who are experiencing the same thing, and we can all get through life together and find a better place for ourselves.
About your favorite song that you spoke of during the EP launch, could you tell us a little bit more in depth if you care?
Yeah, sure.
And because I find it very intrigued, and I think most listeners and viewers who watch on YouTube as well,
Yeah.
they were very touched, by it. So could you give us more insight?
Okay, so Picture Perfect was actually written last year, and I actually only had the chorus formed, and it was really difficult for me to try to find the perfect verse or bridge per se. And I actually had to keep on writing and writing, and even with like the music backing track, I couldn't form out anything. It was only until about end of 2013 to beginning 2014 that words started to start coming out, and melodies started to gel together with the chorus. So there was a lot of editing involved through Picture Perfect, and I think that 1 year of writing really also kind of draw some parallel to my personal life, in that sense that I really struggled throughout that 1 year on my emotions as well. So it really had like a parallel side to how I was in real life as well.
Now, Picture Perfect. I like the title of the song, but the one question I think one of my viewers asks, and they like to, if you don't mind,
Yeah.
if you had a second chance in life,
Yeah.
will you still write Picture Perfect?
Wow. Of course, I wouldn't like to go through the experiences that I did writing through that song, but I think, personally, I would choose not to, but something good happened out of something bad. So that's kind of like, the thing that I feel happy about, at least, that there was something good out of what happened in my life. Yeah.
Do you realize that I think I have viewers who say that they find Picture Perfect is actually by far one of the most touching songs. Uh, well, some say that it even pierce their heart. How do you feel about it?
I'm really glad that the song was able to connect with them, and it really touched their hearts, and I really like to encourage these listeners that to tell them that they're not alone, and we can all go through like whatever bad things that are happening together, and we'll just come out stronger, and yes, we'll definitely find love someday.
Now, are you in the midst of trying to complete your album? And how many songs do you think there will be in the album?
At the moment, I would just like to just concentrate on my EP, because I think there are still a lot of loose ends. As much as I've released my EP, but there's still a lot of loose ends to tie up, getting my music out there. So at that point in time, or at the moment, I'm not concentrating on releasing an album just as yet, but I'd like to just you know kind of push my material as far as I can go, and we'll see how that goes.
So, how many more EPs are you expecting to launch later on?
Mm, at the moment, I wouldn't have. I mean, it would seem it's indefinite at the moment because um, it was really a big step of faith for me to come up with this EP. I it was definitely a challenging experience, and I'm really glad that NAC gave me some support in terms of releasing my EP, because it is really expensive to come up with an EP. There's so much going on. There's not only the music recording that you have to go through, there's marketing that you have to go through, there's a lot of PR stuff that has to be done. So it's a really expensive process. So I think it might take me at least 1 to 2 years, because I still have to, kind of finance myself in that sense, because I'm unsigned.
What's the biggest challenge or the most tedious challenge in recording and making the EP while you have a vision towards building up your album?
Okay, because I would say that I'm more of a musician and less of a PR or a marketing person. So I thought it was really challenging, but coming from a sales and marketing job previously, I think it really helped me gain some confidence in this area, even though it was really difficult, and I was quite clueless about how to go about things. But there were definitely people who around me who really extended their help and gave me a helping hand. Yeah.
Helping hand, as you said, plays an important role.
Yes.
So, what's next for you? Do you have any plans to extend, your EP launch or even a concert elsewhere, other than just the small state of Singapore? But would
Yes.
you be planning to go to other countries, like your neighbors, and even as far as Europe and the United States?
Definitely plans are in the works. I am actually still talking to certain vendors to help me with the EP, with the sales of the EP. So there will definitely be exciting news in July and August. So you just have to stay tuned for it, because I don't want to jinx anything.
Now, what about the music video?
Right.
Is there any plans for you to release the music video, especially your favorite song?
I did definitely think about it, but because the location which I want to film, Picture Perfect, it's kind of unavailable until much later in the year, so that would have to wait for a while. But it will definitely be released this year or so, but probably till end of 2014. I'm also in the talks with some other people as well on the music video for Sola. That is one of the most experimental tracks in the EP. Really want to just give it that artistic and experimental vibe that the song has. So I'm definitely excited about that music video.
Now, in your experience and your journey in making this EP, by far, what is the most memorable part or process in making this EP a reality? Could you tell us more?
I think one of the most memorable parts was when I received news that I got the grant from NAC to support me in my EP, because I think it was a huge step, not only for myself but for NAC to know that they actually believe in my songwriting, in my music. It was a huge thing for me. And also when my producer had actually expressed that he would like to record my EP as well, that was a huge
Encouragement.
yeah, that was a huge encouragement for me, because he's a very busy guy, and it has you have to be somewhere before someone express interest in your work. So I think it really meant a lot to me during the whole EP process. Yeah.
How does your family feel about it? Because I saw that your mom was there, and do you think they actually sincerely support what you do? Should you give up your career and pursue your lifelong dream as a musician?
Well, initially when I was well, okay, I had a dream to be a singer when I was 12, and I did tell my mom about it, and she thought I was kidding. So it was really funny how things really panned out and how I actually walked this journey. And for my mom, I think she had never expected myself to go down this road because she knows how shy I was. I wouldn't even dare to go up to people to talk to them. So for me to be standing in front of a lot of people, or like 1,000 people, it was really shocking for her. And she has always been encouraging me and being the one who was editing my music in that sense, because my mom, well, we influence each other. I let her listen to the kind of music that I like, and then she'd be like, I like this, I don't like this. And then she's like my editing ear, and it's important for your music to sound good to the common listener, to the common man, because that is where it connects to them the most, and that is what I hope to do as well.
A common listener and a common notes for common people. That's nice. Now, let's move forward. If you had a choice today, if you have a magic wand, what would you do?
If I had a magic wand, I definitely hope that I could, maybe get signed or start touring and doing music, probably, to not just in Singapore but maybe all over the world. That would be my dream, actually, to experience something like that, because I think you only live once, right? So you should really just make the best out of things.
What will be the top 3 countries that you will definitely give consideration, for touring?
I'd definitely love to go to the UK, and then probably to Australia, because there's so nearby, and maybe perhaps America as well.
Now, it's interesting. You said you would want to go to the UK,
Yeah.
Australia, and the United States.
Yeah.
Why the UK?
Well, because most of the bands that I draw influence and inspiration from, they're actually from the UK, and given the chance, I'd definitely love to collaborate with some of them, and because they're so creative, and I would love to draw some of their creative inspiration from them as well.
What is your musical philosophy of music?
What is, sorry?
What's your musical philosophy of music? What is music to you?
Music is the heart and soul. Is food for the heart and soul. Really. Yeah.
Now, before we close, our listeners would like to know what's your favorite beverage before you enter your practice in the studio? Is there will it be coffee or juice, or is there something that actually enhance your singing capability?
I personally like to take coffee hot, because I feel that it helps to open up my vocal cords. But during my recording process, I actually had my vocal producer give me water with a lot of salt in it, and it's hot, and I had to gargle it, and it was terrible, and I hope I didn't have to do it again.
What will be the 3 key advice for aspiring, artist, singer, songwriter who wants to follow your path that you have just gone on? What would be the 3 key advice that you have learned that you can impart?
I think it would be just to keep on writing, because all of us hit roadblocks in life or in whatever that we do. So it's only when we get past it that we are able to further improve. So I would really, the first advice I would give is really to continue writing and don't stop, because you will probably write 100 bad songs and maybe like you have finally one good song, just like I did. So it's important to just keep on trying. And I think secondly, it's not to limit yourself to what you listen to, because by limiting yourself to what you listen to, it's harder to get new inspiration. And I think experimentation is really important. So by listening, you start to experiment and find your own brand of music. And maybe the third advice is to really know what your story is or what you want to tell to the listener, because at the end of the day, a song is not just about how cool the chords sound or how exciting the riffs are, but it's more about connecting to them as a person. And because that's just what music is. It connects people. It connects people emotionally and mentally and spiritually as well.
Before we really go, have you ever been discouraged or been booed off the stage because it was a bad song? And how did you find strength to encourage yourself and pick yourself up and say, wait a minute, although it's a bad song, but I think I can do better. Have you experienced that before?
I haven't had the experience of being booed off the stage because of a song, but I did have received bad comments about a music performance that I had, and everyone else who had did the set earlier had great comments, but I had no comments, or it was just it felt terrible, like a terrible comment to me. So it was difficult for me as a person, because you link what you do, songwriting, your performance, your singing, to yourself so much that you can't pull away. So when people criticize your set, it's as if they criticize you. So I think what I've really learned is to just pull yourself away from what you do to who you are as a person. Yeah, I think that's really important.
Well, once again, Celina Kimble, thank you for joining us here at the National Critics' Choice. Before we really go, could you tell our audience, where can they find more information? Do you have a website or Facebook? Where can they find you?
Okay, you can find me on Facebook. My Facebook page is Celina Kimble. You can find me on YouTube. I have the same username as well. You can find my album, my EP, on iTunes, as well as Spotify and Amazon. So I really hope that you'll be able to connect with me as well. I do have an account on Instagram, so that would be great if you can just pop by and say hi.
Well, once again, have a good day, and thank you for joining me here at the National Critics' Choice with Celina Kimble and Robin Stienberg. Have a good day ahead.